Hello. First live chat, you guys. So give me just a second. Oh, messy. So anyhow, welcome and good morning. And I'm so excited. This is my first live stream on YouTube. And I don't edit my videos and I haven't so far. So I figured this would be a pretty easy transition for me. And also, for us to have a coffee conversation, there definitely needs to be the back and forth and not just me posting videos. So I'm really excited to make this transition. I'm probably going to get better at setting it up. So bear with me this morning. Um, so I'm kind of feeling a little icky. I've had a little bit of sinus congestion. And so this morning I'm coming to you in our coffee chat, or, well, I'll talk about that in a minute, with a honey ginseng tea. So I always choose this tea from Republica Tea, which we serve here at the cafe when I'm feeling a little icky, and it makes you feel so good. And usually it kind of drums up everything and it gets everything loose. And anyways, it's a great option if you're feeling like I am. And I know a lot of people here in Texas are. It's so humid and hot. I'm just going to adjust this real quick. And then also this morning, don't look behind me. I did not set anything up. Is a blueberry scone. So we do offer out of our pastry box these wonderful scones. They have a nice crisp outside and then a really nice gooey inside. There's actually a filling in there. And so if you're looking to just kind of snack on something, then I really recommend that. So I'm excited to be here in front of y'all again. I've switched over to these live streams. I'm hoping that y'all will make comments, and I've got my chat box open. So if you want to throw a line in, kind of tell me what you're thinking, that would be great. I've never done this before, so you are my guinea pigs. um, I'm definitely just kind of focusing on my subscribers at this point. So hoping that if you can't catch us live, if you can't actually be in the conversation live, then definitely save this video. You can watch it later. You can always contribute. I've noticed a couple of weird comments on my last videos as we talk about things that are maybe a little bit more, I don't know, intellectual, deep. I feel like we'll probably get some interesting comments, and I'm a really big promoter of not deleting them because I feel like that just gives those people power. So I welcome you to have a healthy understanding that we're here to discuss all sides. We're here to discuss anything and everything, not to argue or fight. So if anyone saw the video from before, no, it's not the Jews that are causing the problems. Which I'm sorry, I had a hard time not laughing about that because it's so absurd. I know a lot of people are real serious about those kind of comments right now, but I try to bring light to them because it's so silly. It really is. So anyhow, write a comment if you feel like you want to contribute. I'm looking. Changed my banner or YouTube look just a tad. I'm really lucky to have such a thoughtful husband. He is always teasing me because he loves me, and he thinks that my coffee chats is a little bit kind of surface sounding, which I can probably agree with. So he urged me, actually, he just sent me a text message. It said Penny University. And I'm thinking, what the heck is that? So I asked, or actually, he asked me about it. He was like, hey, did you ever see what I texted you? And I said, well, I didn't really look it up. He said, well, look up Penny University. It's actually really relevant to what you're doing. So you might notice that instead of coffee chats on our banner, it now says Penny University. And so it's so interesting. Penny University is actually what coffee houses in Britain used to be called. And the reason why is people would pay a penny for their coffee, and that coffee would get them admission basically to come inside and have intellectual conversations. And it was almost as if people were getting a kind of a free education because, as you talk to other people, it is education. And, I'm so behind this because this is exactly what I'm trying to cultivate here at the cafe is free thinking. Um, Sometimes dangerous thought is good thought. Sometimes thinking outside the box opens up doors. And I've just kind of go along with what everyone else is doing. I like about, well, why aren't they doing that? And so anyhow, the Penny University is kind of my ode to the beginning of what is now our coffee houses. And I really feel that the cafe does have those kind of conversations all the time, and that's why we are here having these chats. And I'm still going to call them chats, but um, anyways, I just wanted y'all to know the meaning behind that, just in case you were wondering. And then also our wonderful regular Karen. If you come in at all, you might see a lot of her sketches. They're always in the same color. We put them on our walls, and I bring them home and flower them in my mudroom and wherever I can on our cork boards. She made me this beautiful image that's now on our banner, of a person drinking coffee, and it has a U inside of it, and there's a world behind it, which is just so my style. And it really speaks volumes in the meaning behind this stream as well. So I also have added this video to lifestyle changes. I'm going to kind of be grouping some of my videos so that they make more sense. So I'll go get into that in just a second. So last week we talked a little bit about self-awareness. I had a lot of video trouble, which is why I've switched over to the live stream. And we talked about, building self-awareness. What are the tools that you can do that, how you do that. And we went in a little bit about why it's so important to build self-awareness right now. And I really feel that in order to make change, in order to make a difference, because we all feel so powerless, right? We feel like we're not contributing enough or we're not doing enough to help others, to help our situation in this country, to help the situation in the world. I really feel like it starts with you. And this is definitely no coincidence, is why our cafe is called Cafe U. um, the community needs you, and you have to be strong. So focusing on your self-awareness, on yourself is so important. And this is just something that I feel, and you could have a different opinion, but um, so we went over some of the tools, cutting out bad habits, and trying to be in more silence, more meditation, try to reflect a little bit more, try to spend your time doing what you feel is not a waste of time. So spending your time more adequately. There's so many. I could do a whole entire playlist on tools to build yourself up. I feel like this is a lot of the times why people feel so helpless. They don't have themselves to they're not grounded. And luckily for me, I'm a huge yogi and I love yoga. One of the biggest reasons I love yoga is it grounds you. You get used to doing poses on the floor. You get used to being barefoot. You get used to the power of your own breath, your own flow. And this ultimately sets off a trigger of responses throughout your day where instead of getting angry and getting so upset, you learn to breathe. You learn to just take in that deep breath and just kind of let it go. You might, anyways, I feel like your movement very much reflects how you feel and how you think. And so this is also one of the reasons why I've decided to start attaching a yoga pose to my streams, because it's very symbolic. How you move is a reflection of how you are, how you think, how you feel. I'm always telling my 9-year-old, quit stomping around the house. Walk gentle, walk lightly. Why? Why does it matter? He doesn't understand why it matters so much. And, I tell him because if you walk more graceful, then you might think more graceful. You might have more grace in your day. So, it's very symbolic to me. So today I chose to do a warrior two position because we're going to talk about the line of moderation, which I'll explain. And I love the beautiful line that your arms make, when you're in your warrior two. So it's just me being really geeky, but also I love to tie in my interests together. What about you? I don't know. Do you do little things like that? I always watch the show in the morning on 93.1 and it's like, does that make me crazy? I literally have like a million of those. Does that make me crazy? Constantly making connections and my everyday. Um, so line of moderation is kind of is the theme of the chat today. And I wanted to share this with you because I find it really funny. My dad, he would lecture me. This was a lecture I probably have received a million times over in my life as a young adult, as a young kid, as an adult, as a young adult. My whole entire life, my dad always brings up the line of moderation. See if I can get a pen. Okay, so here's how it would go. I would do something crazy and and maybe a little like nutty. And my dad would sit me down and he would say, Ashley, let me show you. This is the line of moderation. Let's see if my pen works here. This is the line of moderation. If you can see it, the line. And he would say, sometimes, you're on this line and you're doing a good job of keeping pretty balanced. And then all of a sudden you kind of get, you know, a little too much. Like you might do something over and over and over again that's too extreme. And, he was like, and that's okay sometimes, but you got to always find your way back to that line of moderation. And he would draw that line down and they'd say, sometimes, like you might not be doing enough. There might be a lack of something and you're just struggling to keep up the energy or, struggling to keep up with whatever you need to do. And so you always got to go back to that line of moderation. And so I joke, about this line of moderation, but I find myself, and I just did the other day, teaching it to my own kids. And I feel like it's something that everyone can take something from. What does that really mean? Well, balance. It means that living your life in balance is so important. And every day I try to wake up and reset. Okay, I made this decision yesterday that I'm not so proud of or that I'm not really happy about, but I'm literally going to wake up today and I'm going to start over. I'm not going to judge myself for yesterday. I'm not going to judge myself for that decision I made, or like if I got a little extreme, if I got a little angry, I'm going to start over and I'm going to make better choices. And I feel like a lot of people get so hung up on, "Oh, I shouldn't have eaten all that dessert. I just made me feel bad," or I should have worked out, or, doing things along the day that you regret or didn't do or did too much of. I feel like you have a chance every morning to wake up and say, okay, I'm going to start over. And when you do that, I feel like when you train your brain to do that, you have more grace with yourself. It kind of allows you to start over and try to achieve maybe those things that you are trying to achieve, and you don't get so down on yourself and caught up in the past, and you move forward. And then every day that you keep making the decisions you really want to make, then it rewires your thinking, and it really does. I mean, I've been breaking some habits lately, and it's interesting how you can feel yourself drawn towards the habit and you think, okay, I just need to redirect, right? And think about something else. And then when you do, you can feel yourself becoming more powerful. It's almost like your brain is like, okay, I get what you're doing here. I'm gonna move over here and I'm gonna follow what you're doing now, And so a lot of times when I'm trying to cut out habits or anything, I literally try to get myself out of the same patterns that I was having before. So anyways, that's just an example. Becoming more balanced, that's such a big topic. It's such a big conversation, but I feel like in the grander scheme of things, when you can live a more balanced life, things seem to flow. They seem to flow better. And it goes down to the most simple things like wasting. I'm huge on I try to focus on not wasting a whole lot. I get really excited when we only have 2 bags of trash for the week at my household, or when, I can manage to make sure all my food that we don't eat goes to the pigs and the dogs. Um, so I feel like when I'm not wasting as much and things are more balanced in my life, when I'm able to slow down and not be so excessive, things come to me better. The day flows better. I tend to have less run-ins, like I tend to have less trouble. I don't know if y'all feel the same way. Definitely let me know if you do. I'm really curious because I tend to get I tend to get a little extreme. So I'm not gonna lie, like my personality is very obsessive, and I have to constantly keep my obsessiveness under control. And so I can be very compulsive and I can be very much into extreme. And so, which is probably why my dad was always showing me the line of moderation, because I can tend to overdo things more than the opposite. I know a lot of people just from conversations I'm having with other people, they tend to kind of be on the opposite end. I can't get myself out of bed. I can't get myself moving. I struggle with energy. I struggle with this. I think it's okay sometimes to not be on that line of moderation. Sometimes you can't live a complete balanced life. I think beating yourself up over that is not the way to go. But I do think that making sure that you're keeping yourself in check and knowing when that's happening and how it serves you. So, like sometimes I know that being obsessive is good because I know it's going to do me a favor. Like learning how to live stream on YouTube and spending 2 days of researching, and ignoring everything else because that's all I can think about. It's going to serve me maybe, hopefully. So, sometimes we have to give ourselves grace, but I feel like in the most everyday living a more balanced life is ideal. But it's hard to cut out to it's hard because you have this lifestyle right now in our community, in our society, that's very fast paced. It's very fast results and fad diets and do this quickly, and so I cannot stand it. It's not realistic, and things take time. And when you want a habit to change, it takes time. It takes time to take something that you don't like about yourself and fix it. And nobody has a quick fix for you, and nobody can do it but yourself. So this is the other thing, nobody is out there with the secret. You already have the secret. You just need to tune in, and tuning in is the hardest part, ironically. Um, so being balanced, is different for everybody. Everybody has kind of a different imbalance. Just know that like this isn't something that happens overnight. It's definitely something that takes a long time to do. Why is it important to be balanced in this world right now? Because there are so many people struggling mentally, physically, um, in their everyday. And ultimately, if you're not a strong individual, if you're not where you need to be, it's very hard to help out your community, your family, your friends. I so strongly feel that it starts with you. Okay. So focusing on how you can be the best version of yourself. And it sounds so cliche, and I feel like a lot of people say it, but it really means more than just the words. It means the actions. It means actually following through. Um, this country, we're always looking for answers. I feel it's a cultural thing. We're always hoping that that doctor is going to fix me. That personal fitness instructor is going to make me healthy. That you know I don't know. We're always looking to professionals, right? And sometimes that's important, excuse me, to go beyond yourself and need extra help. That's great. But just know that you have the power inside of you already to make that change. You just have to decide that you want that. That's such a big one. Nobody can do that for you. I'm My husband and I have not had health insurance in I think 10 years, over 10 years. Um, we've gotten to a point where we are able to set money aside for our medical, issues. But instead of thinking in fear, oh, I might, I this might happen to me. I might have this thing happen to me and we won't be able to afford it. I don't think like that. And I know it's scary and it's hard for some people to understand. Instead, I think, how can I make myself so healthy that I won't really need to use that money unless I do actually really need it? I eat better. I make better decisions when I'm eating. It doesn't mean I don't eat bad too, but I try to focus on eating better. I try to work out every day. I try to focus on my physical strength. Being still, too still, and letting your body get weak and soft really does a number on your mental health. And it's because you can't physically do what you're thinking or how you feel. It all goes together. It's a very spiritual thing when you can connect what you're feeling and thinking to what you physically. You create this realm around yourself, and it's an energy flow. And it is felt by everyone that you come across in your everyday. And you want to know how you can help others in your community. You become energetically positive. You become healthy, and you try to, from the ground up, make yourself a strong person. I know I keep saying that, a strong person. I know it sounds like, oh, that's easier said than done. But that's true. It is easier said than done. It's a lot of work. It's every day waking up and saying, okay, I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to commit to doing the things that I know are important to me. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to make sure that I can get what I need done. And then also feeling physically able, being able to say, okay, I can, I can go do my run, or I can, I'm start somewhere, yoga, do something light. Sometimes I have my kids hanging on me while I'm working out. It's so frustrating. But I get it in and I think, yoo-hoo, I got through that moment. So I don't know. I feel like living balanced is very hard, but I feel like that's one of those lifestyle changes that if you can accomplish, you can do so much more for the people around you. And when you can uplift people around you, then those people can go and uplift people around them. And it's a contagion effect. And ultimately, I feel like this is how we're going to make change in waves in our country. We have to be role models for each other. We have to be responsible and hold ourselves accountable. And if you're feeling that pressure, that's good. You should feel that pressure. There is a lot of pressure. Life is hard. Life is not easy. Um, being being what you want to be and doing what you want to do is not easy. But I can tell you that when you start living more balanced and you try to cut out those extremities in your life or those things that are lacking, and you bring them up to that line of moderation and you kind of stay on that line for the most part, I feel like things come with more ease, and it allows yourself to be a little bit more graceful with yourself. I feel like a lot of the times a mental block is why we struggle to move forward. So I guess really, I really just want y'all to feel empowered, and I'm empowered every day by the conversations I have with people, and I feel like we get stuck a lot in our heads, and I don't know about y'all, but I haven't had anyone say anything. I really would love to know what you think. Do you get stuck? Do you tend to be extreme? Do you tend to not do enough? Why? These are things that I feel like are important to talk about. Sometimes what you say might help somebody else out. I sometimes get a new perspective as well. So I typically use mind trickery when I'm feeling like I need to refocus or reshift. I've told this kind of trick to some people I know. I've done it in the past. If I'm trying not to think about something, if I'm trying to get down on myself about something, sometimes I'll do this mind trick where I'll come up with a word, okay, and I use that word to block the rest of the thought. There might be a scientific term for this, I don't know. This is just something I came up with when I was trying not to bite my nails anymore. But I started using it with a lot of other things too. So, like if I would feel the urge like to bite my nails, I would say no, or even a weirder word. I would come up with words like boogalooga, something funny, something that would kind of catch me off guard, boogalooga. And so then I would kind of laugh about it and then, go on. And then if I'd feel that urge again, I would say boogalooga, and I also use this tool when I found myself having that thought stream that you have when you start assuming things or like you're making up that play in your head when you're thinking something about someone and then you kind of just let this movie play along that's not real. I did this for a little bit in my early 20s, and so I would come up with a word because I found this to be very damaging. It's something that I felt like made me assume things about people that weren't true. Um, I love it. So, Kevin, I love it. I love that comment. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. So he says, I'm an all or nothing person. I can relate to that sometimes. I definitely have that feeling as well. Yeah, and I do wake up in different moods as well and think, okay, I know what this is going to be like. And I do this a lot at the cafe too, where I'll say, okay, everything needs to be rearranged, and they're all like, oh my God. So yeah, it's funny. It is really important. And that goes back to knowing yourself. It's so important to know who you are because if you know that you have certain moods, then you can kind of manage your day or manage your balance level that day or kind of give yourself that grace. Okay, I'm going to be a little extreme today. I love that and using it to your advantage. It's okay to be extreme sometimes. It's okay to not be on that line of moderation all the time. I love it. Very good. Well, I am definitely going to get off here because it is time for me to get on to my children. But if you have a mental trick or like something that you come up with that helps you stay more focused or balanced in your everyday, I'd love to know. And let's see. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure to say that I feel like when you do focus on being more balanced, it helps with your it helps with illness. It helps your mind, and it helps apply your time correctly. So it all goes together. All these videos I'm posting, they all flow. They all go together, and they all are types of lifestyle changes that sometimes take years for people to accomplish. So anyways, thanks for joining in, Kevin. I really appreciate it. And if there is a chance for y'all to save this stream and maybe watch it later, I'd love to hear what you think and hope to maybe gather some more subscribers. If you know anybody who might be interested, as my sister said, I'm trying to find my tribe right now. I'm just trying to do a little bit of intellectual thinking. Think about important stuff that sometimes get overlooked that we don't have time to think about. Maybe uplift moms who are home with their kids because I get that. people who struggle to get past things that are happening in today's world. I feel that too. I'm a very passionate person, so sometimes I get hung up on, media and things that are happening. So I'd love to gain anybody who would thinks that they can maybe feel better about the day having a coffee chat once a week, or come into my Penny University. So anyways, thank y'all so much for joining in, and I hope to see y'all again soon. Look out for my next live stream. I'll be posting it so you can plan it. Bye.